What are you having for breakfast today, Bethany?
Oatmeal and cereal and some eggs.
Yeah.
Off food.
And how about you, Abby? What are you having for breakfast?
Jam-berries, cereal and oatmeal and jam-berries in my oatmeal.
Yeah. That's quite a lot of breakfast you guys like to eat.
Yeah, I love food.
You love food?
Food.
My children have very elaborate breakfasts, which is why I've encouraged them to make their own breakfast. So now Bethany makes her own eggs, and they both get their own cereal. So yesterday was the American election. I'm not gonna pretend to be non-biased. I'm very worried. So today, rather than just doom scrolling through Twitter all day looking to see how quickly the world is going to fall apart, we're going to go to the beach because I don't have internet signal there, and it'll be much better for my mental health listening to the waves and feeling the sun on my face. It's supposed to be 15 degrees today, so this is probably the last week that we have of warm weather before the horrible winter comes, because of course it's going to be a horrible winter because it's 2020. Why wouldn't it be a horrible winter? So the girls are packing lunches and we're going to have a day of relaxing. So Abby, what's in your sandwich?
Pickles, ham, and
That sounds good. We clearly have the whole place to ourselves. There's not a single car in the parking lot, and there's only one boat left in the marina. Hooray for the off season. Is it warm enough? So they're trying to run down the pier and scare the seagulls. But I told them not to run because the pier is wet. So they can't scare the seagulls very well. There's only one left. Abby and I are both done with the beach. Oh, there's a ladybug on me. Hello, little ladybug. But Bethany and Hannah are still collecting rocks, sea glass, and these cool little things. Here, let me see if I can find one. So Hannah's mom introduced me to these things. These are called lucky stones. They're actually bone from the ear of a fish, and they were used almost like a currency in the pre-Columbian era. They're pretty cool. So the girls are trying to find these. So we might be here for a while. Hi. Marina. Yeah, Marina. Marina.
Marine. How about marine?
Marine. So we were at the beach for 5 hours. I feel very windswept. And we have about 15 minutes before Hannah's dad picks her up. And the girls really wanted to do their volcano. So, baking soda first.
All of it?
Yeah. Get it down to the bottom. Get it all to go through the funnel.
On the funnel.
Yep.
Now what?
All right. Now Hannah's going to pour that in. And Bethany, you're going to pull the funnel away. You got to do it quick, okay? Pour all in, Hannah. Woo! That was so quick.
Look at that. We're doing it again. Yes! Again.
Now here's the question though, how do we clean it out? Hannah's gone home, her dad's picked her up, and Bethany and Abby have made themselves a scavenger hunt that they are doing in the backyard. What I kind of wanted to talk about was we didn't really do anything educational today. Most days we play some sort of game, or we ask some questions and find some answers. We do something educational, but we didn't today, and I'm not going to beat myself up about it, because I think it's also really, I think our society really tells us that we need to be productive, and that any minute spent not working on something is a minute wasted. And therefore, we tend to feel really guilty if we're doing nothing. Humans used to spend a lot of time doing nothing. And it's really good for our mental health, but we don't do that anymore. And I think we sort of damn our children to that way of thinking when we pack every single minute of their day with activities. Now we're going to do this, now we're going to do that. What are we going to do now? Now we're going to do this. I think it is vitally important that children get time to do nothing. That's when they say I'm bored, that's when you're in the right place. You want them to complain about how bored they are, because that's when they use their imaginations. That's when they get inventive and creative and think outside the box. And that's also when if you keep them busy all the time, they never have a chance to think about how they're feeling, about where their mind is, where their body is. I think as a society, we've gotten to a very unhealthy place. And a lot of the reasons that I want to homeschool my children is that I kind of want to keep them away from these unhealthy ways of thinking, at least until they've developed a bit more resiliency, a bit more confidence, and a bit more, until their brains are just a bit more developed. I don't want them to be damaged the way that I think a lot of children in this generation are going to be damaged. I mean, two of the girls I take care of already clearly have anxiety, and I wouldn't be surprised if Abby also ends up having anxiety. And life is hard, life is hard. And I think their lives are going to be harder than ours, with global warming and the economic situation and overcrowding and the precariousness of our food system and pandemics. I think our children are going to have harder lives than us. And I think they need to go into this prepared. They need strong minds, a strong self-awareness. They need to be prepared for a difficult life. And that's my objective here. Psychologically prepared, mentally prepared, physically prepared. I want them to know how the world works, and there's this thing when people say, to, when they get into the real world, and what they really mean is like the world of business. They mean like putting on a suit and going to a job every day. To me, that is not the real world. The real world is the sun and the plants and the animals and the air that we breathe and the water that we drink and the way that we support ourselves and provide for ourselves, and the way that all of these things are balanced together in this complicated ecosystem, that if any one part of it changes, all of it gets changed, and that affects whether we can live or not. That's the real world. The real world isn't the business world. The real world isn't Wall Street. So I want to prepare my children for the real world. I want them to know how this works, how they are a part of it. And I also want them to know how their bodies work and how their minds work and how all of it is connected. And that if you have an unhealthy body or an unhealthy mind, then everything else goes, I need them to understand that. And so that's why I don't feel guilty when we have a day like today, where we just play on the beach and relax and take it easy and enjoy each other's company and do nothing. Because I think that's a really an important education as well. Anyways, I think that's it for today. Thanks for hanging out with us. Take care, and I'll see you next time.